All right. Good morning, everybody. We're so grateful to have you here this morning on our wake-up call. We're going to do these every Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we've been going through the book, The Little Things Matter. It's 100 ways to improve your life today. And every day we're giving one out of here. And today I'm very honored and excited to bring somebody on. He and his wife have been a big part of my life, a great friend, great business partner, and really an inspiration. So I'm looking forward to hear from him. Mr. Tracy Davis, are you on the line?
All right, I am. So can you hear me?
I gotcha.
All right. Hey, I know everybody was counting on Cindy Wright. I love hearing from her. You're going to have to settle for the second string today. So straight off the bench, here I am. So this is Chapter 60. It's called Give Feedback the Right Way, and this is right up my alley. I really need to hear this chapter. And it starts, when a toddler takes his first steps, Mom and Dad is most likely standing right there. If the little guy leans too heavily to one side, he is gently steadied. If he falls, he is lifted up, praised, and encouraged, and tries again. Providing constructive feedback to a friend, family member, or colleague is no different. Careful, consistent course correction is needed. Giving constructive feedback the right way is beneficial to both the receiver, improved performance, a shorter learning curve, and personal growth, and the giver, more respect, happier relationship, and better production. The right way to give feedback, and it's RIGHT. It's give feedback and give it the right way. The acronym for the word right is an effective way to remember. R, respectful. Showing respect for the other person is a fundamental principle for delivering any type of message, but it is especially important when it comes to giving feedback. People will not listen to feedback that is delivered aggressively, sarcastically, or disrespectfully. Ask permission to provide feedback. I like to ask those that I coach or employ, if I see ways in which I can improve your performance, would you like me to do so? In most cases, people have said, by all means, tell me. When I see things important enough that need correction, I begin by saying, Maria, you told me you wanted me to tell you when I notice things that you can do to improve your performance. In a respectful way, I explain how she can improve her results. As the relationship deepens and people begin to value my feedback, I don't need to tiptoe anymore. They know I want the best for them and are almost always open to hearing the little things they can do to improve. If you have not asked for this permission in advance, you could say, hey, would you be open to hearing some feedback on your report? Asking permission won't take much time, and it goes a long way to communicate your respect for the other person's time and effort. If what you have to say could be perceived by anyone listening as reflected negatively on the other person, his or her work or reputation, your conversation should be held privately. I, issue specific. Keep your feedback message centered on the performance or issue that needs to be corrected, not the person or personality. It is very easy for the individual who is receiving feedback to become defensive. Isn't that true? So do your best to stay focused on the specific issue that needs to be improved. G is for goal-oriented. One of the objectives of constructive feedback is to improve performance by including a discussion of goals in your feedback. You provide something practical and constructive on which to focus. In working with entrepreneurs, I remind them of their goals and help them to see why they will be more likely to achieve them if they make the refinements that I suggest. If you are in management, the goals could include some of those of your company, department, team, or project. You could also remind your people that when they do the little things to get better, they are increasing their value to the company and the marketplace. H, helpful. By giving constructive feedback, you can help someone become a better performer or a better person. As much as possible, use a helpful tone and show your support by recognizing the person's efforts. Offering praise and giving credit where credit is due will ensure that the individual will be more receptive to hear your feedback. Oftentimes, I sandwich my constructive criticism between two positive or encouraging statements. That's very important. Another approach is to ask questions that will elicit self-discovery, such as, how do you feel you did on this project? Or how do you think you could have performed at a higher level? This generally leads to a less defensive and productive conversation. After you expressed your sentiments and provided constructive feedback, make it a point to check back with the person within a few days to ensure that the relationship is still intact. Find out if they have been hurt by your conversation and are harboring ill feelings or are avoiding you. Finally, T is for timely. Feedback is the most valuable when it's delivered as soon as possible. While the event or performance issue is fresh in everyone's mind, business and life move at a pace that seems to always be increasing. In order for your feedback to have a real impact, it needs to be fresh and relevant. If people sense that you care and want them to succeed, it's much more likely that they will be appreciative of your comments and take them to heart. Okay, I can tell you, the comments and the feedback need to be fresh and timely, but they need to be specific and not, I can tell you what they need not to be. So a lot of y'all know that Jody and I play pickleball. You know, if she hits a ball into the net, one of my helpful comments probably needs to not be, babe, you need to quit hitting the ball in the net. Now, she knows not to do that, so that's not very constructive criticism, when I say something like that. Anyway, with that, Jennifer, can I get your comments on this chapter?
Absolutely. I love that. I love all of these, and I'm going to read through real fast. So the right, R-I-G-H-T, respectful, issue-specific, goal-oriented, helpful, and timely. And each one of those are so important. I've been on the other end of work. One I can think of was back when I was a vet technician, to where I was trying to do something, I thought it was doing it right, and the person would come in that was training me, and they would immediately attack everything I was doing wrong, and it was very hurtful. I took it the wrong way. I know they're there to help me, but if they would have taken that time to like, hey, can I give you some feedback and compliment something I was doing right, like, hey, you held this right, you did this right on that IV, if you would tweak this just a little bit, it would go a lot easier for you. So there's definitely ways to go about that. And I remembered all those things when I was that training person. I turned around and did it the way I would have loved to receive it. And I think you can always think about that, like when you stop too, like how would I like to be taught how to do this? How would I like to receive it? And I think even with kids, my boyfriend's little girl, as I look at her, there's sometimes I immediately see her struggling and I want to immediately grab it and say, like, hey, do you need help with that? Or can I give you some advice on that? And she's like, she'll say, oh, yeah, or she'll say, no, I got it. So even with this, I actually read this yesterday, but yesterday I was taking the time to think about that even with children, because they need to figure things out on their own. But the genuinely caring, to really take it to concern, to not just be in a rush even, to drop a bomb on somebody of how they could be better and walk away, like to make sure you have a few minutes to hold that space. That way if they have a question, if they want to comment back and forth a little bit, I think for me when I do that to help people, that I think the genuineness relays better because I'm not just hurrying along and cutting off time for them. So, yeah, I think this is an awesome chapter. Very good.
Man, that was good. Hey, two quick things. The one thing I have always tried to do is I love that sandwiched, the criticism sandwiched between two positive reinforcements. Whenever I was talking to an employee at the Department of Correction, I'd always try to first talk about two things they did really well and then one thing that they can do better. And that seemed to go really, really well. But what I wanted to talk about, so yesterday I was watching my grandson, and Jody had taught him how to fold sheets, and there was a big beach towel on the floor, and I asked him to fold that up, and he said, I can't, Papa, I can't. And I said, well, just do your best. He said, I can't. I said, Annan, just do your best. So then he did what he said was his best, and it was just okay. And I said, Annan, was that your best? He said, well, Papa, I could have did a little bit better. So I didn't even have to I didn't have to do anything. That was, asking him his own thing. How could you have done better on this project? He told himself how he could have did better. He knew how he could do better just by asking him if he did his best. And I think, if we take that into life and do that with everybody, I know for myself I would be way better off. So let's try to do that for this entire week. Let's just ask people how they can do their best and give them constructive criticism and always give them compliments. And with that, Jennifer, can you finish this up with the positive word?
Absolutely, you got it. So every chapter in this, it ends with a little things matter challenge. So here we go. It says, giving constructive feedback is a skill that managers and leaders work hard to perfect. The next time you are presented with the privilege to do so, I hope you use these key principles and feel confident that you can deliver better feedback. And then it says, when people can tell that you genuinely care about their best interests, they will be more receptive to what you have to say. So I hope you guys will take that and do that challenge this week. And reminder, tomorrow we will be back again at 8:15 in the morning. Feel free to invite anybody you want to join us on the call. All right, give me 1 second, and I'm going to get us unmuted so Wade can say goodbye, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.